In the quiet village of Polim, Togo, the miracle sanctuary stood as a beacon of hope for the desperate. Its towering gates and pristine walls drew thousands, but one rule governed all who entered: during prayers, every eye must remain shut. Disobedience brought dire consequences: blindness, madness, or death. No children were allowed inside, not even infants, for the sanctuary was a place for the serious, the broken, those who had exhausted all other options. The villagers whispered that the tighter you closed your eyes, the swifter your miracle. Barren women bore twins, the sick walked again, and some claimed even the dead were revived. Yet, rumors swirled in the shadows: did the church's power come from God, or something darker? Kofi, a young man of 22, had heard these tales. A former medical student who left university after his family's farm failed, he now worked as a carpenter, crafting stools for the local market. Curious and skeptical, he decided to visit the miracle sanctuary, not for miracles but to see the truth behind the whispers. As Kofi approached the sanctuary, he saw a man, Atsu, clutching a lifeless infant at the gates. Atsu's eyes were red from crying, his voice hoarse from pleading. "Please, save my son," he begged. The ushers, stern and unmoved, blocked his path. "No children allowed," one said coldly. "Rules are rules." Atsu collapsed, sobbing, as the crowd watched in silence. Kofi's heart sank. How could a place of healing turn away a grieving father? Kofi followed Atsu as he staggered away, the infant still in his arms. Kneeling beside him on the dusty road, Kofi said, "I'm sorry for what they did." Atsu, voice breaking, whispered, "I've attended that church for years. I closed my eyes, followed every rule, but my children, 5 of them, all born dead. They promised me a miracle, but I've lost everything." Kofi's fist clenched. Something was wrong with this place. That night, Kofi couldn't sleep. Atsu's words echoed in his mind, mingling with stories he'd heard: a woman who went blind after picking during prayers, a man who lost his voice, a pastor's son who vanished. He visited his friend Selom, a mechanic who had once attended the sanctuary. Selom's eyes darkened as he spoke. "I almost opened my eyes during a prayer. Something cold, like a claw, grazed my face. I felt evil. My sister said it was the Holy Spirit, but I never went back." He leaned closer. "They say the pastor's brother disappeared after a service. They claim he moved to Accra, but no one's seen him since." Kofi's resolve hardened. He needed answers. Armed with a hidden camera tucked into his shirt, he vowed to attend the sanctuary's monthly deliverance service and break the rule: he would open his eyes. The sanctuary was packed, hundreds bowed in prayer, eyes tightly shut. Pastor Emmanuel's voice boomed through the speakers, calling for healing and blessings. Kofi sat among the worshippers, pretending to pray. As the room fell silent, he opened his eyes. At first, nothing seemed amiss. Then the altar shimmered. Dark, shadowy figures hovered above the pastor, who knelt before them. Tendrils of light drifted from the worshippers, their eyes still closed, into the gaping maws of the entities. A woman beside Kofi groaned softly as a shadow reached into her chest, pulling at something invisible. Kofi's heart raced. He wanted to scream but clamped his mouth shut, closing his eyes as terror gripped him. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness hit. His voice failed, his lips moved, but no sound came. Kofi collapsed, darkness swallowing him. Kofi awoke in his small room, sweat-soaked and trembling. His throat tightened as he tried to speak. Nothing. In his pocket, he found a crumpled note in unfamiliar handwriting: 14 Hope Lane, Lomé. Ask for Kwame. Confused and desperate, Kofi drove to the address, finding a modest chapel with a faded sign: House of Grace. Inside, a man knelt at the altar. "I'm Kwame," he said, rising. Kofi scribbled his story on a piece of paper, explaining the sanctuary and his lost voice. Kwame's face grew grave. You've brought something back from that place. It's not of God. We have 3 days to break its hold, or you die. Kwame anointed Kofi with oil, praying fervently. Heat surged through Kofi's body, his voice returning in a gasp. Thank you, he croaked, tears streaming. He handed Kwame the memory card from his camera, which had recorded everything. As Kwame played the footage, the truth unfolded, the altar shifting, the entities feeding, Pastor Emmanuel bowing to them. Then, a shocking revelation, Pastor Emmanuel himself had driven Kofi home, slipping the note into his pocket. Moments later, the pastor entered the chapel, head bowed. I've been trapped, he confessed. 10 years ago, desperate for his struggling church to grow, he met a man who gave him a vial of dark oil, instructing him to pour it into the church's foundation and enforce the closed doors rule. Miracles followed, but at a cost. His brother, who peeked during a service, vanished, locked away in a secret room, mute and broken. I want to end this, Emmanuel pleaded. Help me. Kwame, Kofi, and Emmanuel returned to the miracle sanctuary. At the spot where the oil was poured, Kwame knelt, praying. The ground rumbled, lights flickered, and a foul stench filled the air. Shadowy figures rose, lunging at Kwame, but his prayers held them at bay, banishing them one by one. The air cleared, the oppression lifted. Emmanuel surrendered to the authorities, who shut down the sanctuary. Kofi's footage aired on national television, exposing the truth. Emmanuel's brother began to speak again, freed from his prison. The nation reeled, learning that not all miracles are divine. The miracle sanctuary, once a symbol of hope, was now a cautionary tale. Kofi, shaken but wiser, returned to his carpentry, vowing to seek truth over blind faith. The village of Kolim learned that desperation must never override discernment. True faith welcomes the broken, demands no fear, and shines in the light of open eyes.